Hey everyone, this is Jay. Um, Today in this video, we're gonna read the novel we were reading last time. It's called The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. We're gonna start from where we left off in the last video. It's from here, where Sherlock Holmes was questioning a woman. So let's just get into the story. Yes, sir. I believe that he foresaw some danger, or else he wouldn't have talked so. And then I think that what he saw foresaw happened. But you have no notion as to what it could have been. None. One more question. How did your mother take the matter? She was angry and said that I was never to speak of the matter again. And your father, did you tell him? Yes, and he seemed to think with me that something had happened and that I should hear of Hosmer again. As he said, what interest could anyone have in bringing me to the doors of the church and then leaving me? Now, if he had borrowed my money or if he had married me and got my money settled on him, there might be some reason, but Hosmer was very independent about money and never would look at a shilling of mine. And yet, what could have happened? And why would he not write? Oh, it drives me half mad to think of it. And I can't sleep a wink at night. She pulled a little handkerchief out of her muff and began to sob heavily into it. I shall glance into the case for you, said Holmes, rising. And I have no doubt that we shall reach some definite result. Let the weight of the matter rest upon me now. And do not let your mind dwell upon it further. Above all, try not to let Mr. Hosmer Angel vanish from your memory, as he has done from your life. Then you don't think I'll see him again? I fear not. Then what has happened to him? You will leave that question in my hands. I should like an accurate description of him, and any letters of which you can spare. Everyone, I'm so sorry for the background noise. Don't wear headphones, alright? When you're watching the videos. জেলা প্রশাসক মাগুরা অনুষ্ঠানে সভাপতিত্ব করবেন জনাব মোহাম্মদ ইয়াসির কবির উপজেলা নির্বাহী অফিসার ও সভাপতি উপজেলা ক্রীড়া সংস্থা মাগুরা সদর মাগুরা বিশ্বনাথ I advertised for him in the last Saturday's Chronicle, said she. Here's the slip and here are 4 letters from him. Thank you. And your address? Number 31 Leon Place, Camberwell. Mr. Angel's address you never had, I understand. Where is your father's place of business? He travels for Westhouse and Marbank and the great claret impostors of Fenchurch Street. Thank you. You have made your statement very clearly. You will leave the papers here. And remember the advice which I have given to you. Let the whole incident be a sealed book, and do not allow it to affect your life. You are very kind, Mr. Holmes, but I cannot do that. I shall be true to Hosmer. He shall find me ready when he comes back. For all the reposter's head and the vacuous face, there was something noble in the simple faith of our visitor which compelled her respect. She laid a little bundle of papers upon the table and went her way, with the promise to come again whenever she might be summoned. Sherlock Holmes sat silent for a few minutes with his fingertips still pressed together, his legs stretched out in front of him, and his gaze directed upward to the ceiling. Then he took down from the rack the old and the oily clay pipe, which was to him as a counselor, and having lit it, he leaned back in his chair with the thick blue cloud wreath spinning up from him, and look of infinite languor in his face. Quite an interesting study, that maiden, he observed. I found her more interesting than her little problem, which, by the way, is rather a trite one. You'll find parallel cases if you consult my index. In Endeavour 77, and there was something of the sort at The Hague last year. Old as is the idea, however, there were one or two details which were new to me. But the maiden herself was most instructive. You appeared to read a good deal upon her, which was quite invisible to me, I remarked. Not invisible, but unnoticed, Watson. You didn't know where to look, and so you missed all that was important. I can never bring you to realize the importance of sleeves, the suggestiveness of thumbnails, or the great issues that many hang from a bootlace. Now, what did you gather from the women's appearance? Describe it. Well, she had a slate-colored, broad-brimmed straw hat with a feather of brickish red. Her jacket was black with black bits sewn upon it, and a fringe of little black jet ornaments. Her dress was brown, rather darker than coffee color, with a little purple plush at the neck and sleeves. Her gloves were grayish and were worn through at the right forefinger. Her boots I didn't observe. She had small round hanging gold earrings and a general air of being fairly well-to-do in a vulgar, comfortable, easygoing way. Sherlock Holmes clapped his hands softly together and chuckled. "Upon my word, Watson, you're coming along wonderfully. You have really done very well indeed. It is true that you have missed everything of importance, but you have hit upon the method. And you have a quick eye for color. Never trust general impressions, my boy, but concentrate yourself upon details. My first glance is always at a woman's sleeve. In a man, it is perhaps better first to take at the knee of the trouser. As you observe, this woman had plush upon her sleeves, which is the most useful material for showing traces. The double line a little above the wrist, where the typewriter presses against the table, was beautifully defined. The sewing machine of the hand type leaves a similar mark, but only on the left arm and on the side of the farthest from the thumb, instead of being right across the broadest part, as this was. I then glanced at her face, and observing the dint of a pince nez at either side of her nose, I ventured a remark upon short sight and typewriting, which seemed to surprise her. It surprised me, but surely it was obvious. I was then much surprised and interested on glancing down to observe that, though the boots which she was wearing were not unlike each other, they were really odd ones, the one having a slightly decorated toe cap, and the other a plain one. One was buttoned only in the two lower buttons out of 5, and the other at the first, third, and fifth. Now, when you say that a young lady, otherwise neatly dressed, has come away from home with odd boots, half buttoned, it is no great deduction to say that she came away in a hurry. And what else? I asked, keenly interested, as I always was by my friend's incisive reasoning. I noted, passing, that she had written a note before leaving home, but after being fully dressed. You observed that her right glove was torn at the forefinger, but you didn't apparently see that both glove and finger were stained with violet ink. She had written in a hurry and dipped her pen too deep. It must have been this morning, or the mark wouldn't remain clear upon the finger. All this is amusing, though rather elementary, but I must go back to business. Watson, would you mind reading me the advertised description of Mr. Hosmer Angel? I held up the little printed slip to the light. Missing, it said, on the morning of the 14th, gentleman named Hosmer Angel, about 5 feet 7 inches in height, strongly built, shallow complexion, black hair a little bald at the center, bushy, black side whiskers and mustache, tinted glasses, slight infirmity of speech, was dressed when last seen in a black frock coat faced with lace, face with silk, black waistcoat, gold Albert chains, and grey Harris tweed trousers with brown gaiters over elastic-sided boots, known to have been employed in an office in the Leadenhall Street. Anybody bring in, and etc. etc. Alright everyone, that's it for today. I'm gonna end the video here. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and watch the whole video if you can. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.